What is up, YouTube? Today we're back with another NBA video, and as we all know, the draft lottery is in 4 days, and what other better video to do than an NBA mock draft? So I'll also be doing another NBA mock draft after the draft lottery, so make sure you subscribe, like, and turn on post notifications to be notified when that comes out. Now, without further ado, let's get started. So to determine the draft lottery, I actually used Tankathon because we could go by the NBA standings, but what fun is that, right? So, I'll sum the lottery once, and we'll go with that order throughout the entire video. And this mock draft's only going to be the lottery teams. If you guys do want like an entire first round mock draft, leave it in the comment section below, and I'll definitely make a video on that. So now, moment of truth. Let's sim the lottery. Okay, so as you guys see, this is a list that we will be going with throughout the entire video. So now let's get on to the draft. With the first pick in the NBA draft, I got the Cleveland Cavaliers selecting Cade Cunningham. So this is a pretty obvious pick because Cade's the consensus number one. He's a 6'8" point guard that could shoot, that could pass, that could defend, and he could do it all. He really has no flaws, and that's why he could possibly be the safest number one pick in recent history. With the number two pick, I got the Orlando Magic selecting Evan Mobley. Now, some of you might be wondering, don't they already have Wendell Carter and Mo Bamba? Well, to be honest, those two aren't going to be franchise-altering centers. Mo Bamba didn't get minutes in the first place, so it clearly shows the Magic don't value him as much. And it's super hard to think that the Orlando Magic, who lack talent, would pass up on a guy like Evan Mobley, who has insane potential. This guy's been getting player comps to Anthony Davis and prime KP. And if he does plan out, Orlando could be a really fun young team coming up. With the third pick in the NBA draft, I got the Minnesota Timberwolves selecting Jonathan Kuminga. Now, let me start off by saying the Timberwolves getting the third pick is crucial because if you guys don't know, if they land outside of the top four, that pick actually conveys to the Golden State Warriors. And the Timberwolves are eager to make the playoffs, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do end up trading this pick. But for now, we'll just select a player with this pick, and that's Jonathan Kuminga. Now you may be asking, why am I taking Kuminga over Green and Suggs? Well, it's just fit-wise. I think Suggs and Green are better players than Kuminga right now, but in terms of fit, in Minnesota, they already have 4 players in D'Lo, Anthony Edwards, Malik Beasley, and Karl Anthony Towns, who all like to take 10 plus shots a game. So adding another guy like Jalen Green or Jalen Suggs, who needs the ball in their hands to thrive, it's not really ideal. I'd much rather have a guy like Jonathan Kuminga, who could focus on the defensive end and maybe even develop a shot in Minnesota and become a really good 3-and-D player. Now with the fourth pick, I have the Oklahoma City Thunder picking Jalen Suggs. Now, Kemba did get traded to OKC, but I don't think Kemba's in their long-term plans, and that's why I still have Jalen Suggs going to OKC at 4. And it doesn't really matter because OKC has 5 either way, and you know who I'm going to take for 5. But with Jalen Suggs at 4, they build a backcourt of Shea and Jalen Suggs, and that's going to be the backcourt of the future, and that's actually looking really, really fine. Both of them good defenders, could play make. Jalen Suggs, I don't know if he could really play off the ball, but Shea could play off the ball, so I think it will be a natural fit, and I really like this pick for OKC. Now with the fifth pick, we have OKC again, and I have them selecting Jalen Green. Now, Jalen Green, when it's all said and done, could be the best player in this draft. He's probably shown the most potential at being like the prolific scorer, but his defense and playmaking does have some can be seen as weaknesses, because he doesn't have like the biggest of frames. He's a 6'5" shooting guard slash small forward, but if they do select Jalen Suggs at 4, they would have to run Jalen Green at the 3, which he could kind of be undersized, but OKC could figure that out. But again, his scoring potential outweighs all those weaknesses, and I think OKC, this draft could really jumpstart OKC's rebuild. Now, with the 6th pick, I have the Detroit Pistons picking Jalen Johnson. Now, Detroit, I really hope they get a top pick, because they've been at the bottom of the standings for a very long time now. And why I chose Jalen Johnson? Well, Detroit needs like high potential players. Some of these other guys like Scottie Barnes, Davion Mitchell, Keon Johnson, those guys are alright, but I feel like they have a ceiling. Like their ceiling is pretty limited. Whereas Jalen Johnson has got player comps to guys like Ben Simmons, but with a shot. So like if Jalen Johnson does plan out in Detroit, that could be a like real franchise saving move for Detroit. And that's why I really like this pick for Detroit. But now moving on to number 7. I got the Toronto Raptors selecting Davion Mitchell. Why I got the Toronto Raptors selecting Davion Mitchell? Well, Kyle Lowry's free agency choice is up in the air, and most Raptors fans do believe Kyle Lowry is gone. I myself also believe Kyle Lowry is gone, and the point guard position is kind of weak for Toronto. Fred VanVleet could move into that point guard slot, but I don't know how well he will do as a primary ball handler. They do have Malachi Flynn, so the Davion Mitchell fit could kind of be weird. But what Davion Mitchell showed in that NCAA tournament was actually crazy, the way he was able to lead Baylor. And he plays both sides, so he fits that Toronto Raptor mold, and that's why I like this pick for the Toronto Raptors. Now with the number 8 pick, I have the Orlando Magic selecting Keon Johnson. I feel really bad for Chicago here, because they would have had a lottery pick, but it's going to Orlando, unfortunately. But for Orlando, Keon Johnson could be a steal at 8. This guy could probably go 6th, or he could maybe even crack the top 5 in some mock drafts. But this guy has out of the gym athleticism. He's not the greatest shooter right now, but I do believe he will get better at that, and I believe he will be a really solid 3-and-D player, which Orlando could play at the 3 or the 2, and it doesn't really matter. But I really like the future outlook of Orlando, getting Keon Johnson at number 8 and Evan Mobley at number 2. Now with the number 9 pick, I got the Sacramento Kings selecting Scottie Barnes. I think the Marvin Bagley experiment is over. I think Sacramento would probably try to trade, like maybe group Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley to get a bigger package. And I think to get that 4 replacement, they're probably going to pick Scottie Barnes. Another guy I could see them pick is a guy like Franz Wagner, who could help them like try to get a playoff push. I think that's their goal next season too, because they want to make it back into the playoffs after, I think they have the longest drought right now, I believe 14 seasons. So Franz Wagner, the problem with Franz Wagner is that I feel like he'll be a really good role player, but once again, Scottie Barnes' like versatility on the defensive end, where he could guard 1 through 5 maybe. I mean, in the NBA level, maybe 1 through 4, but still, I think Scottie Barnes just has a little bit more potential, and a young team like Sacramento, I think they would value the potential over Franz Wagner, who's like a little bit more polished player right now. Now with the number 10 pick, the New Orleans Pelicans select Corey Kispert. Now this is the most perfect match because Corey Kispert plays defense, he shoots, and those are two crucial things the Pelicans need right now. They need to fill Zion with guys that could shoot and defend, and that's what Corey Kispert does. He's a brilliant glue guy, perfect role player. He doesn't have an ego, so I think that's going to come in. That's going to be crucial when playing with guys like Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson, who requires the ball in their hand a lot. And Kispert would just kind of spread the floor a little bit so Zion could go in the paint and do his things. So now with the 11th pick, I have the Charlotte Hornets taking Franz Wagner now because, as I said, he's pretty much good at everything. He's a do-it-all type player, and he just adds more depth to that 3 or the forward position, which I think Charlotte does lack a little bit. I mean, if I'm Charlotte, I would probably trade down a little bit and get a guy like Usman Garuba. My bad if I pronounce it wrong. Or even Alperen Sengun could be a potential pick for Charlotte. But I think Charlotte definitely wants to go for more of an athletic guy. Isaiah Jackson could also be a good choice for Charlotte, but I have them taking Franz Wagner. Now with the 12th pick, I think the Spurs would go with Alperen Sengun. I think the Spurs want high potential guys, and believe it or not, this guy's been getting player comps to Nikola Jokic. Now, I don't know if he will be as great as Nikola Jokic, probably not, but even if he's 60% of what Nikola Jokic could be, that'll actually be really good for the Spurs. And the Spurs have been a pretty boring team, not gonna lie. This guy Alperen Sengun, he got some next level passes, and it's actually pretty nice to watch him play. So yeah, I think the Spurs would go with Alperen Sengun at number 12. Now, with Indiana on the board at number 13, I have them taking Josh Giddey. This guy's a 6'8" point guard, and he's been getting some player comps to Luka Doncic. But personally, I see him more as a Joe Ingles type player who could be your secondary ball handler. His shot's kind of slow right now, and he's not as polished of an offensive player. Especially off the ball, he doesn't do too much. But he's only 18, so I think he has a lot to work on. And with the Pacers, I think they are headed towards that rebuild route where Josh Giddey could get a little bit more minutes, and I think it will be really good for his development as a player. Now with the final pick, the Warriors are on the board. So who do I think the Warriors have taken? Well, I think the Warriors would actually go with Isaiah Jackson. They definitely need more athleticism. They definitely need more size. Isaiah Jackson is 6'11". I'm pretty sure he's also a good shooter too. I haven't watched much film about him. But at this point, I think the Warriors just want some polished players that will help their playoff push next season. And Isaiah Jackson seems like a good defender. And I'm pretty sure from some scouting videos, he has shot the ball well. And that pretty much fits the Warriors mold. So I really like this pick for the Warriors as well. And that's pretty much it for the mock draft. If you guys agree with my picks, let me know in the comment section below. If you guys disagree with my picks, let me know. I would love to talk about why you disagree and whatever, just have a conversation. But thank you for watching today's video. Please leave a like, subscribe to the video, and I'll see you next week.